Hey everyone, it's Caleb from Caleb Leases Trains back with another video. And in today's video, we're actually going to talk about the locomotive that I get asked about the most, which is this Lionel Legacy Southern 282 Mikado. Let's get into it. So you might be wondering, what does it mean when I say that I get asked about this locomotive a lot? Well, people generally ask me where I got this locomotive from, and I have to explain to them this is actually a custom-made project by my good buddy Blake. This locomotive originally started as a Frisco 282 Legacy Mikado. It's one of the newer runs that has the whistle steam and the 5 different whistles. Obviously, I'm a Southern railroader. I love the Southern Railway. I didn't want it to stay Frisco, so I sent it off to my buddy Blake, and he does a great job with customizations. And he customized this into a Southern Mikado. So I'll go ahead and show you all the little details that he did to this, but it came out fantastic. It looks just like a Southern Freight Mikado, which is what I wanted. And also, I kind of went with a unique choice for the number as well. Instead of 4501, I went with 4587. The reason I did this is because I wanted it to be more of a basic Southern Freight Mikado. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the beautiful customizations that have been done to this locomotive. So, we're gonna use a paintbrush to actually point out details. I could not find like a screwdriver or anything, so we're just gonna use a paintbrush. But we're gonna go ahead and start up here in the front of the locomotive because there's a lot of details to unpack here that you may not even notice at first. The very obvious detail that is different from the original Frisco Mikado is that the headlight has a visor on it. Now, the visor was actually made by Blake. He customized this visor, and I actually had one made for 542, but it really just sells the Southern Mikado look. I cannot explain to you how much I love how this looks. Then the other thing that we have here is the number boards are changed, and then there's a custom number plate right here underneath the headlight. Now, I'm not entirely sure how he did these with this because on my 542, I actually ended up just painting over the number, like the numbers on the headlight so they don't glow anymore. He made them glow. He somehow swapped the numbers and they still glow, and it looks absolutely perfect. I could not be happier with it. You know, I would have been okay if they didn't glow, but they glow and they look fantastic. And then you might notice that the marker lights are a little bent, and that is not anybody's fault. That would actually be from the post office throwing it on my door. I wish I was joking. When I watched them put it down, they threw it very hard on the porch, and when I opened it out of the box, the inside smoke unit had actually, the wires had come loose on it. These were completely bent, and then the bell was completely broken. So this is glued on right now. That's why it doesn't swing anymore. It's just, you know, stuck in place. And again, it's not anybody's fault. The people at the post office may not have known that it was a very expensive train, which is okay. But you know, it's fixed. I did fix the smoke unit. That's about the only thing I was really nervous about, other than the electronics breaking. So everything on it's still pretty good. But yeah, overall, it looks mean. It looks like a Southern Freight Mikado. The Frisco one was already kind of close anyways to the right color, but overall, it just looks absolutely fantastic. So we'll go ahead and move on to some of the details closer to the cab. So this is actually one of my favorite areas on the locomotive, which is right here on the sand dome. I can't remember if the original Frisco one had numbers here or not, but these have been replaced. Now the Southern actually had it was more of a gold lettering, but with all the letters on this, we went with a yellow color. And that's just because in my opinion, in model form, the yellow actually looks a little bit better than gold. And it's really hard to nail that kind of color, you know, when in real life it's just a certain color. There's some colors that are just easier to produce in model form, which in this example, you know, we went with yellow, and it looks pretty good. So overall, I'm very pleased with that. It's, you know, flawless, absolutely flawless work. And then we'll just go ahead and push the locomotive forward so you can see the other part here, which is the cab. Now, the window frames were actually custom painted because the Southern Railway had red window frames on a lot of the locomotives. Now, my 542 model that I customized does not have this. I need to either send it to him to get it done or just try to paint it myself. I'm not an expert painter by any means at all. So yeah, this is a little bit too difficult for me unless I was to remove the windows. But we also have Southern written right here, and then 4587, which is the number I went for. Now, the number that I went for with this, I actually have pictures of it that I found in some archived photos online of the Southern Railway. of this locomotive, and it looks very similar to the style of Mikado. You know, it's just like 4501, It's not exact, but it is very, very similar. Close enough to where it doesn't bother me and it looks just like the real counterpart. So yeah, but the tender has got one of my favorite features on it, which is something you may not notice at first. So let's go ahead and get into that. So on the tender here, we have the same lettering right here, but you might notice that it's a little bit more semi-gloss than usual, and that's because we had the whole Locomotive coated in a semi-gloss finish. Because it, it protects the decals, because these are decals, you take the original off and then you re-letter it with the new decals, but we put the semi-gloss just because I wanted it to have more of that shiny steam locomotive appearance. And that is consistent throughout the whole Locomotive, but on the tender especially, you really notice it in person. And then of course, the number board lights are changed as well on here, and they also glow. Everything about this Locomotive is flawless, but the tender is probably my favorite part just because of that big, bold Southern lettering like they had. And then especially because the semi-gloss really shows up. It shows up on the Locomotive, but the Locomotive is not nearly, there's not as many flat surfaces, but when you have this big, long, flat surface right here, you really notice the semi-gloss on it, and it looks fantastic. So without further ado, I think we should just go ahead and start up this Locomotive and run around the layout a couple times. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching so much. If you liked what you saw here today, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, I can't wait to keep making more videos like this in the future. This was honestly one of the most fun ones to me because I love the story behind this locomotive, and I just love the locomotive in general. All the whistles on it are fantastic as well, so it's a joy to run. But yeah, more videos like this are coming very soon, so make sure to stay subscribed and tune in. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Caleb from Caleb Trains.